Hello, and welcome to yet another video. This video is going to cover the qualified overtime, how to set it up, potential speed bumps that you may encounter if you have multiple pay types for any of your employees. This particular employee right now is set up at one base pay, one hourly rate. That is it. Nothing fancy. Standard run-of-the-mill employee. I'm only paying them $10 an hour. Yes, I'm cheap. But it's a little easier to figure overtime for those of you that are mathematically challenged, like me. I don't have to use a calculator. So let's get to it. Uh, like I said, $10 an hour. Overtime is 1.5 base pay. We'll get to the setup here momentarily. So in order to add it, we simply click the add. Obviously, you have to have overtime pay set up initially. Basically, by default, QuickBooks will throw that in there. And we just select the qualified OT tracking, also known as QOT for those of you that love acronyms. Um, Tells you about the big, beautiful bill. You can view the details if you want. We're not going to bother with that. The other thing to note is click this 3 times. This will tell you what box on a W-2 it will report it on after this year is complete. Last year, uh, we didn't have a setup in place to report it on last year. Therefore, most companies put it either in box 14 or box 15, whatever they chose. The IRS isn't too picky about it, but this year it will have to appear on 12TT. All right, so now we're going to save that. I've already run a paycheck for Tater with overtime on it. Forgot to go here. Okay. As you can see, he had 10 hours overtime. All right, plain and simple. No QOT or anything like that on this paycheck because I forgot. We'll cover that here in a moment as well. All right, so let's go ahead and run payroll. All right, pay dates in place, pay periods in place. We're not going to worry about the particulars on that. Once again, we're going to give them 10 hours overtime. Pay special attention over here to the qualified OT tracking. Okay, I want to give them another 10 hours. It will automatically calculate the half portion of the time and a half. The half portion is $5. 5 times 10, 50. Simple math. Okay, everything's hunky-dory. Let's go ahead and preview and submit. All right, that's done. Now, say later on, we decide, okay, we're going to pay him extra for whatever, you know, just give him another pay type. So we're just going to add, and we're going to call this one uh, super overtime, just for lack of a better, super overtime. Hourly, we're going to call this one, let's see, call this one $20 an hour, even though it's double overtime, but we'll ignore that. Okay. Go back to employee list, run payroll every Friday. Okay, now you see super overtime here. All right, maybe it's a weekend rate or something for working weekends. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter really what it is. But I called it overtime on purpose. We're gonna give them 10 hours here. Once again, we populate the qualified OT. Now, pay special attention here. Remember, this is based off the base rate right now. Okay. Watch what happens when I put 1 hour or more, it doesn't matter what, in here. It automatically changes this rate to be based 1.5 times this rate. This is going to cause issues with some of you when this is just could be I don't know, shift differential or whatever. If this rate is higher than this rate, it's automatically going to change your overtime rate. Got to pay attention to that. And that also screws up the overtime tracking because now is basing it on $10, which is part of the time and a half, the half part of time and a half. 10 times 10, 100. So now he should only be getting $15 an hour in overtime, and this should be $50. This can be overridden, okay? And you're saying, well, what about this? This can also be overridden by editing the paycheck here, right here. You can put the $15 an hour back in, and it will recalculate, okay? That's important. Now, some of you may ask, qualified OT tracking, how does it affect the taxes? Let's find out. Let's put $20,000 in there. Nothing happens with the taxes. Okay. This is merely a tracking mechanism. That's all it's there for. It just tracks it throughout the year, adds it up at the end of the year, puts it on box 12 TT. Okay, that's very important. So let's return this to its former glory. So everything's right. His overtime rate is now corrected. Save. The other place you can also edit that rate is whenever you go into the preview payroll, click the magnifying glass, you can edit it here. Okay, same screen, same everything. All right, now everything looks good. Submit. All right, so like I said, the very first check was run with overtime without the QOT put on it. Second check was just plain old QOT. Third check had the QOT along with that higher pay rate, which I can neither agree or disagree with the way it's calculating things. I don't like it personally, but I don't write the software, so don't blame me. Anyway, let's look at the paycheck list. So, seriously? Oh, okay. So, like I said, I didn't put it on the very first check. I forgot. Some of you are going to forget. Once you do assign the qualified overtime to the employees, you can then go back on past paychecks. And I don't know if this applies to the direct deposit checks or not, whether it will allow you to edit them or not, but you can put it on past paychecks. If not, some of the members of the people that you call in with, they should be able to, or they can get somebody that can put it in for you. But I'm also going to show you something else. So this check here, once again, 10 hours. It was $5 an hour over the base rate of 10. 5 times 10, Okay. Here again, does not change the taxes. As long as you're not editing the taxes, it'll let you, should let you edit. I know it does on paper checks, obviously, since that's what we have here. And you just simply save it. It's not going to change the net pay. It's not going to change anything. It's just merely tracking it. Now, let's go look at the payroll reports. And oops, as usual, they bury the good reports down here at the bottom. Payroll details. Let's do it for this year. As you can see, he's got the same amount of overtime every single week. 150 bucks. It updates the running total for the year. So now let's pretend that we forgot, or we want to update it on a future check. I'm going to run payroll yet again. As usual, 10 hours. Let's say I wanted to add that $50 to this check. Simple. Change it to 100 bucks. Oops, 100. Okay. This will catch the system up. So it doesn't matter whether you do it on a past check or on a future check. In the end, it's going to, keep in mind this was 150, so it should be at 250 once I refresh. Now 250. So the biggest thing, the biggest headache is going to be the people with a higher rate of pay. It's going to jump. Yeah, it's going to change things. You just got to be leery of that. I'm sure there's going to be some people that overpay their employees and then realize it later on. Yeah. Like I said, I don't write the software. I personally wouldn't have done it that way, but it is not a glitch. I repeat, it is not a glitch. It is the way the system is designed. Don't call in expecting us to change the system. The only thing I can suggest is submitting feedback. Tell them that you don't like it. We do look at this. This is how a lot of features are brought out to QuickBooks. And they can take that into consideration. I feel it should be something that's adjustable, or it should warn you, or you can tell it, okay, only base it on this pay, something of that nature. But it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like, tag, share, and follow. And I hope you have a wonderful day and stay warm out there.